till you're sick. Okay. We will be doing a story written by Uncle Dickie. Who's Uncle Dickie? That's Uncle Dickie. It's a watercolour caricature of Mr. Richard Goulden, Uncle Dickie, in Dirty Linen. He was an actor. This is 1977. The drawing is by Jonathan Elsom, 1977. Now, he never married. His dad was a barrister. His mum was Spanish and was very famous in England for playing Toad in the children's pantomime, which is, plays every year for about 30 years. He played the role. And this is something he's written. I've got a lot of his paperwork, and you can see he's written his notes, puts in bits. The red is cuts if article is too long. So he was obviously writing something for a newspaper or a magazine. But turn it over, because he lived through the 30s depression, World War I, World War II, you reuse things. So this is a rehearsal script for a play he was in, The Liars, in 1965. And there's no lines on here. I don't know. Have to look up to see which one he is. I'd say he could be the Chief Justice. Do not know. We'll have to look that one up. So this is what he wrote about his life. It says, Richard Goulden, born in the naughty 90s, that is the 1890s, known to thousands of children and their parents as Mole in Toad of Toad Hall, another bracket, in which role he appeared 21 times since he first played it in the London premiere at the Lyric Theatre in 1931. So this is written about 1951, because he did it every year. Oh, might have been a break over the war. Made his first professional appearance in October 1923 at the newly formed Oxford Playhouse as Mazine Dunn in Heartbreak House, in company with Tyrone Guthrie and Flora Robeson. Well, Flora Robeson became a very famous actress. In 1925, played in the last season of the old Stratford-on-Avon Theatre before it was demolished by fire. Oh dear. So he played, that's Shakespeare's old place, I think. Since then, he has appeared in London and the provinces in many hundreds of plays of all genres: Shakespeare, farce, operas, buffet, musical, including the famous Olivier production of Antony and Cleopatra in 1951. Has 2 pages to his credit in Who's Who in the theatre, which he attributes to his having been in so many failures. Yes, he had a good sense of humour. So therefore he's listed all of the plays he was in. Oh, lots and lots and lots. Oh, very famous actor, lots of plays, but a lot of them were flops. In 1937 achieved a brief but almost national notoriety as Mr. Penny. Here we go. Ta-da! That's him acting as Mr. Penny. Yes, this was a very well-known radio play. And during the last war, was very popular as Old Ebenezer in the BBC feature, The Old Town Hall. That's him as Old Ebenezer, and he's written, "Well, I'll be jiggered." And that's his very familiar signature. He was also the creator of Mr. Chips. The creator of Mr. Chips. Recreations, arguing. Household repairs. Okay. That's the end of the chapter there. Recreations, arguing, household repairs and decorating, and singing Edwardian musical songs, of which he has a large collection. Educated at Charterhouse, a new college, Oxford, and served in the 1914 war, was a private in the RAMC. So that's a brief history of Uncle Dickie. Now he's got a few photos, because in those days they would have had photos printed, and if fans wanted a souvenir, they would send them these photographs and sign them. So there's another one. This is obviously, going by the dress, I'd say this is in the 40s. Don't know what play that's in. There he is. This is obviously a movie, because he went on Irish, don't know his name. That's a movie he was in. That's a lot later. That looks like Coogie Withers. We could find that one out. There's Uncle Dickie again. So he also did the Children's Hour on the BBC and wrote stories, of which I have a couple that are complete and a lot where I've only got one page, because I would say he sometimes double copies, and he's gone and written on the back of the second page for something else, and we don't have that. Okay, so story is Applejohn. Now remember, he's reading this on the radio. Hello. There once was a little boy called John, and he was a very kind little boy, and he was very fond of apples. He loved apples, and his friends at school called him Applejohn, because he was always eating apples. He just loved them, and he was eating them all day long, and he ate so many that he sometimes got a tummy ache. And one day when he was going along the street, of course munching an apple as usual, he saw a poor old lady who was trying to cross the road, and she couldn't see very well, and she had nobody to help her, and was frightened of the motor cars and all that. And Applejohn went up to her and asked her very politely if he could help across the road, and the old lady was really a magic old lady in disguise. She was so pleased that he'd been so nice and kind to her that she said, I see you're very fond of apples, so I'm going to give you a very special apple out of my bag. But what you see, but whatever you, don't forget to plant the pips, which you'll find inside after you've eaten it, and then you'll see what you will see. Applejohn thanked her very much and went into the lovely garden, into the lovely golden-looking... Okay, hang on. He went home with his lovely golden-looking apple, And although it was just before lunchtime, he felt so greedy that he's crossed out. He felt he couldn't help eating the apple then and there in the garden in front of the house, and it was so delicious that he forgot all about the pips and just spat them out on the grass. And something anywhere? Something, oh, okay. And he spat them out without thinking, there in front of the house. And do you know something? When he woke up the next morning, there was a great big apple tree grown up in the night, just like Jack and the Beanstalk, only instead of a giant being at the top of there was a lot of lovely golden apples. Now John longed to get at them, but of course it's not so easy to climb a tree, and on top of that he had his best clothes on. And it would never do to climb up trees in your best clothes. If only I was a bird, he sighed. I could fly up to the top of the tree and peck all the apples off, and they would fall down onto the lawn. But of course he wasn't a bird, so that was no good.